This episode of Nintendo Expansion Pass is brought to you by, well, you. If you want to learn how to support our family of podcasts, head over to patreon.com/bossrushmedia or search for us on the Patreon app on your smart device. Thanks for helping us build something better. Hello everybody, welcome to Ranking Nintendo here on Boss Rush Games. I'm your host, the enlightened, excited Eddie V. Joining me is the one, the only bossman himself, Mr. Corey Derrick.
Hello, let's rank some Nintendo. Glad we're finally finishing this up. I looked at the last episode we posted. It was in September, so neat.
Yes. And everybody, we got the suave and sophisticated Miss Stephanie Klimov. Hello!
Hello, and I brought Kirby here to join us.
Oh. Kirby ate a cat. Mouthful mode.
Mouthful mode on
Meowful mode.
Oh! Trademark that. Anyway, hello. Glad to be back. It's been a while.
Yes. We would love Corey to be in mouthful mode, so we need some Patreon supporters.
Oh yeah, what is it again? If someone joins the gold tier, Corey will wear a Kirby hat.
No, I said there's $1,000 tier that I will wear the Kirby hat.
If anyone wants to donate to $1,000 tier, Corey will wear a Kirby hat. Just putting it out there. It's in the ether now.
It's out there. Watch when this episode finally goes live and there's like a $1,000 supporter somewhere. You're like, why did we do this? Because we'll all forget by the time this goes up.
Probably. That's okay.
Well, everybody, yes, we are back ranking Nintendo, and we are ranking the Nintendo 3DS. And everybody, this system, man, there's just some stuff for this system that I didn't know. But we're all going to cover it a little bit in its history for it. But before we get into that, Stephanie, I want to ask, when did you get into the Nintendo 3DS? Did you ever own one, or the variations of the system? Like, what was your first introduction to the system?
I just can't remember what year I got it. So I wasn't lucky to have the 3DS, but since we're talking about the family of it, this is what I have, the 2DS.
Yes.
And I really, really loved it. I had probably my favorite, well, we'll get into games, right? But I played a decent amount of games on it. I had it for many, many years. It probably, yeah, it was a really great handheld console. I wasn't a big I wouldn't say I'm not a fan of 3D, but I didn't feel the big need to upgrade to a 3DS. I was perfectly fine with that and the two screens on my 2DS. So I would love to hear your guys' experience on 3D, so to speak. But yeah, so despite some of the previous episodes, the 2DS is one that I've actually owned for many, many a year. And I continued to buy stuff through the eShop there up until the bitter end.
Hurry up.
Yeah.
Better hurry up. In soon, or by the time this episode airs, it might actually be over. So.
Yeah, when does it officially close?
Let me see. 3DS eShop. 3DS
because
eShop.
you can buy Minish Cap on it, right? Or no?
Nope.
Oh, damn it. Okay, what's the point?
Maybe.
Minish Cap was on Wii U.
Damn it.
Should have got a Wii U, Stephanie.
No one got a Wii U except for you.
Yeah, I know. It's the best system ever made.
I have Minish Cap on my Wii U.
March 27th. Oh, this will be out by then.
Yeah. So, and what I liked about it is, you could play a 3DS game on the 2DS. Like, I love how it wasn't limiting. Because I know either in just other iterations, some games you can only play on a certain type. So that's what I have. That's my history with it. How about you guys?
Corey, I'm gonna let you go.
Well, I got a 3DS when like the original run of 3DSs, like right after that ambassador program ended. So, when
Mm-hmm.
it dropped to like $170 or whatever.
Yes.
And I got the turquoise/blue one. And then as soon as I bought it, they came out with the XL one. And I bought the black XL one and traded in my small turquoise one. And then they came out with the new 3DSs with the extra joystick thumb nub, whatever you want to call it. And so I ended up getting that. And then it was right around the time we started doing PAL Block, actually, Ed. Um, I
It turned
started.
on.
Oh
Sorry.
boy. And I'm not a big handheld gamer. I think we kind of already talked about that quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the Switch is obviously a nice kind of substitute for that because I can play it on the TV and take it with me, so that's kind of nice. But um, then I never used the 3D, so GameStop was offering a trade-in program where if you traded in your new 3DS XL, you got something ridiculous like $130 in trade-in credit because it
Yeah.
cost $200 when they put it out. And Ed, we unboxed this on a really old episode of Nintendo Power Block. It is a new Nintendo 2DS XL. It's literally
Yeah.
just a 3DS with no 3D. It was $150. It's black and blue. It matches my Switch. It matches my Wii U and my Wii controllers.
Can I
And
tell you, I love that top part, the feel of it.
yeah,
That
Yeah,
the
that
feel
looks
of
cool.
it's like really, it was really good.
yeah. And then I was done buying 3DSs because literally like 3 months after this, they brought out the Pokemon with the Pokeball one. I think Ed is the one that you got.
Yes.
And then they came out with a Zelda one when Majora's Mask was remade.
Oh
That's when
yeah,
the Zelda
yeah.
one came out. I don't know.
There
Something
was
Zelda. There was a Zelda one where like they literally put the Hyrule Shield on the front of it. There was like
yeah,
three or four Zelda ones. Let's
that
be
was
honest.
that was Ocarina of Time or Majora's Mask, yeah, because I'll get to mine
Hmm.
when you're done.
Well,
Or
no, the Majora's Mask one actually had Majora's Mask on the front of it. Uh,
then it has to be the Ocarina of Time one.
Let me see. I'm looking it up.
Because I had a
3D
different Zelda one.
ones.
Mine was the
Yeah,
special edition.
yeah, and then okay, so there's the 3DS, the new Nintendo 3DS XL, which was the gold plated one um with just the Triforce and the wings, like the bird wing thing. There's the regular 3DS XL, which was the Majora's Mask special edition. And then there was just a Nintendo 3DS small edition that came out with Ocarina of Time 3D that's matte black with a gold Zelda theme around it.
Ooh.
I remember that one because it kind of matched the Wind Waker Wii U that came out.
Uh huh.
And I really wanted it, but I didn't get it because the screen on the regular 3DS is too small for me. So didn't get it. And now I should have got it and left it sealed because it's expensive now. Should have sold it.
Well, I know for me, same with like you, Corey. After Ambassadors, I got the 169 one. I got the red one though. I didn't
Yeah.
get the blue because our blue ones were sold out, but we had a lot of the red ones, so I went and got that. When the 3DS XL came out, I ended up getting the Legend of Zelda one because Link Between Worlds came out. I think that was
Hmm.
the big gold one because that one was like literally limited edition.
Yeah,
And
maybe
I
that
got it,
was the one that came out with.
yeah, because it had
I
the
don't.
Triforce at the top of it.
There's
Um,
so many. Yeah. Oh, so there's actually a fourth one that's just gold, and it has the Triforce upside down on the top of it for a Link Between Worlds. Yeah.
I
Okay.
think, yeah.
I see
I
it
thought it
now.
was on the side, but
It's
you're
off
right.
center. It's
It's
off
off
center.
center. Okay, yeah, that was mine because it was very limited when that came out, so I had to have that one. Um,
Yeah.
I think that one came out uh for Black Friday. I think.
It came out. Yeah, it came out around then. Yeah, because I
Yeah.
remember the GameStop around here had like a line literally around the building.
Yeah, because I got mine for Black Friday. I think I posted it on my Facebook page
Yeah.
with it. And then I got the 2DS one with the Pokemon on it. Um, I literally skipped going to church so I could go to work and get it and
Ooh.
come back. Shh. But those the three um 3DSs and 2DS that I had. And I remember when I got the red one doing the augmented reality, they had the cards that came with the system that you could
Mhm.
check and see it in 3D, and it was really cool. That's when I was at Toys R Us working with the Nintendo rep and everything. So he let me see some of the new products before they even got released
Yeah.
or they did the display. He was just like, let you get the feel of it and everything. And I like the lovely trinkets he gave me, like the Zelda treasure chest to hold my 3DS games and everything. Um,
3DS, man. What a
Hey, did you know that the well, I'm assuming 3DS can do it too. I didn't know you could take pictures with these things.
mhm.
yeah, it came with a
Yep.
camera
Mhm.
uh,
Look at
with
that,
it
I'm
and
still
everything.
learning.
Yeah. I have one of those the we used to call them the doorstop 3D 2DSs. They're the wedge ones that Stephanie's using right
Oh
now.
yeah, it's
Mhm.
mhm.
Yeah. I have one somewhere. I actually think it's under our couch because my daughter was taking pictures with it. I got it from someone that my mom works with, and just because it's a Nintendo console, so I'm like, sure, I'll take it. Why not? And my daughter she was in this mode where wanted to be like an explorer because she got a backpack
Aw,
for school,
Mhm.
and she was just walking around the house taking pictures with this 3DS. I was like,
that's
oh
cute.
man, that's funny.
Yeah, and everybody, this is kind of like the last handheld dedicated system that Nintendo made. Pre,
Excuse me, sir. The Switch Lite exists, handheld only, dedicated.
but I'm talking about like some of those games don't appear on any other platforms.
Oh,
It
I
was
know,
kind of vice versa in a sense
I know. I was
until
just
the
messing with
Wii
you.
U came out.
I was trying to be
Uh,
funny.
uh, Well, let's get into the history of the system. So, just to let you guys know that it was announced in March of 2010. It revealed at E3 2010. It uses 3D with no glasses. It was released in Japan on February 26, 2011, Europe on March 25th, North America on March 27th, and Australia on March 31st. The 3DS has a family of systems: 3DS, 3DS XL, 2DS and 2DS XL, and then the new systems. In some of the countries like Spain, they had 3DS LL, which is the XL name.
Gotta love the
Uh,
names here.
yes, it has the most special editions with first and third party for the hardware. Because like they got the Monster Hunter 4 edition. I think
Oh my
Persona
gosh, yeah.
got one. Like third party was getting
The
some
Fire Emblem ones. Remember the Fire Emblem ones? How
Oh,
cool those ones
dude,
were. Oh
was it Awakening or
no,
was it?
it was Fire Emblem Fates got that matte white one, and I wanted it,
Everybody was fighting for that one. You
and
couldn't find it.
it came with it was the only way you could get the cartridge with all three games on it
Uh
of
huh.
Fire Emblem Fates, and man, that console was so cool. I wanted one so bad, but I had already like traded in and retraded in and repurchased and everything, and I was like, I can't do this again.
Well,
I can't. But
it
man, that Fire Emblem Fates one was awesome.
every everybody was literally looking for that one. I think it was very limited that people got when it came out
It
because I
was.
think
It
like
sold out on Amazon in less than 5 minutes.
oh wow, and I think this was no pre-orders or anything for it. I don't remember
Nope.
pre-orders was done
There were
for it.
no pre-orders. You had to buy it as soon as it was on sale. And then uh yeah, I mean, and my GameStop only got two of them, so I'm like, I'm not even gonna try to go there and get it.
We drove out to Fry's Electronics to try to get one for my friend. That and that Monster Hunter 4 one was hard to find. But we ended up getting the games and stuff. It was just I couldn't believe that system will be gone, and I think it's because of the success of one game that we're going to be talking about for it.
Yeah.
Um, so um, when it originally released, it was at $249.99, but then they
Mhm.
slashed it to $169.99. Like you talked about, Corey, they had gave people who owned it for the $249 the ambassador program. I think it was
hmm
like 6 free games, I
It was
believe.
20. It was a there was 20 games. It was a mixture of Super Nintendo, GBA, and maybe some NES games. I'm not 100% sure, but those are the only ways you could get those games. It was the Super Nintendo version I remember of Yoshi's Island, and that was
Uh
like
huh.
a huge deal because the GBA version they changed it. Remember,
Yes.
uh, Touch Fuzzy Get Dizzy. That level was totally changed because, and they changed the name of the level and everything because some people thought it insinuated drug use and stuff, and it was stupid.
Oh,
But
that's drama.
yeah, but
I wonder if that's on the Switch version. I wonder if that's the same one.
Touch Fuzzy Get Dizzy is the real version on Switch.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. The lifespan of the 3DS, and this was shocking to me, from 2011 to 2020. I
Wow.
Yeah.
was shocked about that. I'm like, because I know they stopped showing some of it, the 3DS games in the directs, but I was surprised. I think that
Well,
rolling one, the rolling armadillo one, I think that was the last one I remember
oh,
of a
Dylan's
game for.
Rolling Western.
Yeah,
Gosh, that game was. Did you ever play those games? By the way,
I never
those are
got a chance to.
weird, weird. Uh, but I think the last major first party game was that Bowser's Inside Story remake, and it didn't sell any copies. And it remember Alpha Dream went belly up because
Yeah.
it didn't sell. You know, but they were like under their contract, they had to make the two remakes. Right? They did
Mhm.
Superstar Saga and Bowser's Inside Story, and
Hmm.
both copies combined didn't even sell 1 million units because the Switch was so successful. I think Nintendo was planning on the 3DS still selling, and
Yeah.
then the Switch became super popular, and the rest is history. But like the 3DS only lasted that long because Alpha Dream was under contract to finish those games.
And I had a feeling that, and I think we probably talked about it on Expression Pass, Corey. I really feel like if they had those games on Switch because of the popularity of the system and the sales, I think Alpha Dream would have still been around, and I think
Man,
they probably would have made their first like Switch game. I think for the pandemic
oh my
that
gosh, dude!
everybody
If
would have been
we
for.
need that's a series I am 1,000% shocked has not come to Switch yet. Is Mario and Luigi, the
Mm.
RPG series? Like
I
I'm shocked that there's not like a collection or
mm,
like like a at least the first two games, and then you put the other two games together, right? Like then they had that weird the Mario and Luigi Paper Mario crossover. Remember Paper Jam on
yeah,
3DS, which was not very good. Dream Team, which was that Luigi kind of themed one that they put out. Uh,
yes.
yeah, man, I'm shocked that that series isn't, especially with people clamoring for Mario RPG and how good Paper Mario was. Like, I'm just blows my mind.
I literally have a feeling I think it's going to come to Switch, but I think it's going to be close to the end of the life cycle, or it's going because I think intelligence system is done with Fire Emblem because and Engage, and I think they the ones that did the last Paper Mario on Switch. Um,
Well, Intelligent Systems did Paper Mario on Switch.
yeah, I have a feeling that they're going to do Mario and Luigi to Switch unless they get another. Because like, who else could develop it? I wonder who could bring it. Because I don't know who did Yoshi's Crafted World. I don't know the team that did that one. I would have to
Let me
look that
see.
one up.
I'm looking it up right now.
Because if they could probably if they could do a game in a
Good Feel.
Mario good feel.
Yeah, Good Feel did Yoshi's Crafty World. They also did the Kirby Epic Yarn and I think they did the Rainbow Curse and Woolly World also.
Okay, I think they would be good to um, do it. Uh, uh who did Luigi's Mansion?
Uh, didn't, I don't. Level 5, didn't they do it? I
Ooh,
don't know. But
I don't.
3DS, everybody.
Yes, sorry, sorry, Stephanie. We get into exclamation past
No,
territory.
no, it's all right.
um, you was able to watch Netflix on it, buy backgrounds. I love the backgrounds. Every Friday, I was always checking the eShop to see what new ones was there, and I would buy the Smash Run, Pokemon, a Link Between Worlds, whatever day I could get my hands on for like $1.99. And I want that. I want those backgrounds on Switch. I will pay money to get the Nintendo. It introduced the eShop. You was able to use the Wii U for Smash Brothers. Or use it with Smash Brothers for Wii U. You was able to use Amiibo on it, Street Pass, watch Nintendo Shorts. It had swap notes. Hulu came to 3DS. YouTube came to 3DS also. It was estimated that 75.94 million 3DS was shipped. Um, and there is some legal issues that might surprise you, and I'm going to read you guys this legal issue. In 2011, 58-year-old former Sony employee Serio, I'm sorry, Seijiro Tomita sued Nintendo for infringing a patent on the 3D screen that obviated the need for 3D glasses. On March 13, 2013, a United States federal judge ordered Nintendo to pay him $30.2 million in damages. However, on August 7th, 2013, that amount was reduced by 50% to 15.1 million because the initial figure was, according to Judge Jed Rakoff, a federal judge, intrinsically excessive and unsupported by the evidence presented by at trial. On December 11th, 2013, it was decided by Judge Rakoff that Nintendo paid 1.82% of the wholesale price of each unit sold to Tomita. On March 17th, 2018, the United States Appeals Court determined Nintendo had not violated Tomita's patent. On July 17, 2015, Nintendo won a patent suit filed against 8 of its handheld consoles, including the 3DS. The suit was originally filed by the Quinto Research Group after it secured a patent for a computerized information retrieval system in 2008.
Wow, I did not know any of that. That's insane.
Yeah, so Um, there are some quick accessories. 3DS charging stand that came along with the 3DS. The Circle Pad Pro, which you were able to play games with the two Circle Pads. Kid Icarus stand, so you could play Kid Icarus. There was a variety of touch pens for the 3DS, and the Animal Crossing cards that you were able to use for Animal Crossing New Leaf.
Oh my gosh! Remember that little puck they sold to plug into your 3DS because the original 3DSs didn't have them in it. Didn't have
Yes.
the NFC chips in it. Oh,
Oh yeah,
so
that
funny.
is true.
That puck, man. And the boat, the 3DS boat. Oh,
Oh, and
gross.
everybody, it was backwards compatible with the DS games.
Oh,
So,
gross. Man,
uh,
there was a lot of weird things going on with 3DS. You could really tell, like, you just look at the 3DS and the Wii U era, and you can just tell, like, Nintendo just did not know what to do next.
Yeah, they were doing a lot of experimenting. They were kind of a little all over the place. Easy for me to go back and kind of point that out now, but at the same time, I'm also like, oh, cool, you could buy a background or something. So they've had some interesting, unique features, but at the same time, it didn't seem like it had a very specific direction.
mhm.
Yeah, I think they just tried to capitalize on the success of the DS and then tried because remember everybody at the time 3D TVs were like the thing that everybody was trying to sell, right?
Sony was
Mm.
big on it because I think
This TV,
PS3 had Killzone 3.
this TV behind me is a 3D TV. I played Uncharted 3 and Gears of War 3 in 3D on this thing.
Okay, fancy pants, man.
And I have 4 pairs of glasses that you have to plug in downstairs.
Oh
Jeez.
no, that's a
Uh,
nightmare.
I didn't want it. I didn't want a 3D TV. They didn't sell anything else. That was the thing, right? Like
Hmm.
4K and HDR are now, and like now it's variable refresh rate and high and 120 hertz and stuff like so. I and Nintendo was trying to capitalize on that market too, right? And they came up with a very very convincing glasses free 3D
Hmm.
solution, and it works. Like I did not like 3D, but you look at that and you tell me that that is not impressive what they accomplished on that screen.
Yeah,
Now,
I mean,
granted, the screen was like this big, this big, but
Hmm.
it's not like a 55-inch LED TV or anything. But it's like it was impressive,
Well,
and the 3D moved with your eyesight.
and for me, this is not the 3D part, and I know it seems like such a small thing, and I know we take it for granted now. Like the previous handheld, well, okay, I'm not talking about Game Boy Advance. I'm not sure if it had it, but I had the Game Boy Color. That was a previous handheld that I had, and it did not have a backlight.
Hmm.
Okay, the
hmm
fact that this had a backlight was blowing my brains. I was like, "Whoa!"
Yeah,
It's those small, simple things, you know.
yeah. I loved. We talked a little bit about it on Game Boy Advance, but the clamshell Game Boy Advance had the backlight. That was my first. Well, I guess I had a Game Gear
Excuse
too,
me.
but you can never keep it on long enough to appreciate it because it ate all those batteries.
Yeah.
Uh, it's funny. I found my Game Gears like 6 months ago. I have two of them. I have the black one, and then I had that. Remember, Ed, you worked at Toys R Us. The Toys R Us exclusive Sega Sports Blue one.
Yes.
Oh man, I have that too. I had to have it because it was blue. So,
Uh,
oh man.
yeah.
And then I like when I found it, I realized that the batteries were still in my black one from like 20 years ago,
Wow.
and
Uh,
it was messy. We'll just say that.
Oof.
my friend, he had the Game Gear, and all we played on it was Mortal Kombat 2 and
Oh my
Sonic the
gosh.
Hedgehog.
Oh my
And didn't
gosh, dude.
realize. Oh,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead, go ahead.
No, go.
Oh, I, I didn't realize that Sonic the Hedgehog on Game Gear was the
Was the
Master
Master
System.
System version?
Yes, it didn't know
Yeah, I
that
know.
the right. It didn't know that the Master System had a Sonic game because my brother, he was the Sega kid in the house, and he had a Sega Master System, but he also had the Sega Genesis.
Wow.
So when he
Oh,
got that and he got Sonic One, we weren't even thinking about the Master System at
I
all.
when I got a Game Gear, I didn't even know Master System existed. So,
Uh,
you know,
I, yeah,
I was
that
I was like
was
6 or 7 when the Game Gear came out, though. So
yes.
they didn't exactly advertise Game Gear in Nintendo Power. So
Well, everybody, we're gonna get into some of the launch games for the system. It was
Street Fighter.
uh, wow, as for 3D, Bust a Move Universe, Combat of Giants, Dinosaur 3D, Lego Star Wars 3: The Clone Wars, Madden NFL Football, Nintendogs Plus Cats, Pilot Rings Resort, Pro Evolution Soccer 2011 3D, um, Professor Layton and the Miracle Mask came out in Japan, but later on in America. Raymond 3D, Ridge Racer 3D, Samurai Warriors Chronicles, The Sims 3, Steel Diver, Super Monkey Ball 3D, Super Street Fighter 4 3D Edition, Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Shadow Wars, and then Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell 3D. Now, you said Super Street Fighter 4 3D Edition, and I remember playing that game,
Yeah, me too.
Glory.
It was not great.
It was interesting, to say
It
the least.
it was
'Cause
weird, dude.
yeah, it was weird. I think because I wasn't big into Street Fighter 4 because of the art style. Something about it just threw off. But I'm like, it was like with my new 3DS. I'm like, it was on sale for like $20. So I'm
Yeah.
just like, I'll get it there
Well, the
and
3DS
everything.
wasn't selling because it was $250, and this is a launch lineup. Come on. I mean, I think the remember when Nintendo was trying to say how great Steel Diver was because that was their only like real first party game
Uh
besides Pilot Wings. I guess Nintendo Dogs and Cats too, but like Come on, Steel Diver, gross. The game was not
Yeah.
good. Not
It
good.
was it was a
Don't
launch
defend it,
game.
Ed. You know it was not good.
Corey, I'm just saying it was a launch game. I'm leaving it at that. I did not buy that game. Trust me. So, Stephanie, did you get any of these launch games or
No,
uh
so the downside is I really didn't get systems upon launch until this most recent generation. I was that person that would get the systems after a little while when maybe they're discounted or on sale. So I
uh
unfortunately didn't play any at launch game. Played a lot of games
okay.
after the fact, but none of these. Looks like I didn't seem to miss out too much though.
No, I
Well,
mean,
I
look,
mean people got maddened because they were surprised that EA was putting the game
the
out
game was
on.
so bad. It was bad. It was so
Okay.
bad.
I understand it. I know that, but I think it just like the Wii U version. It was surprising that EA put something out on
I mean, yeah,
a
that's fair.
Nintendo platform.
I mean, they also had The Sims too. They showed up. I gotta say, the best game on this list didn't even come out in America. It was just Professor Layton and the Miracle Mask is the best game on this list, and it didn't even come out here at launch.
Yeah, I think after it came out, I think they started working on the localization of it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, remember back then, you still didn't get worldwide releases of these games, right? I mean,
Yeah, because everybody it was still region locked for the 3DS.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so
Well, I
um,
would say Super Monkey Ball 3D was pretty good too.
yeah, it was. Um, I think because there were just so many games to play, on the 3DS, and getting it so late, there was a lot of more games coming out. So a lot of the launch games and stuff were kind of going for cheap.
Yeah,
So people who like picked up the system, they could get some of those games. I trust me, I didn't play Madden or anything. I think out of the list, I only ones that I did get was Super Street Fighter 4 3D because it was $20,
hmm
um, and
yeah.
everything.
Let's talk
If
about
we
the real games, though, Ed. Come on,
Yes.
let's
So
talk about
we
let's talk about.
hold on, Corey.
Mhm,
We're
mhm.
about to get there. So we have Animal Crossing New Leaf,
I'm
Apollo
about to
Justice
name
Ace
them. Let's
Attorney,
go over them.
Brain Age Concentration Training, Box Sport, and Box Sport. We talked about that on Nintendo Power Box. You guys
Mhm.
can check that out. I love Box Sport and Box Sport. Oh,
$5 a piece.
yeah, exactly. And that was the crazy thing. A budget title like that being on a eShop only game for that price from Nintendo.
hmm Yeah, it wasn't. I mean, it's HAL Labs, so I mean, it's the Kirby team did these games. So
Yes,
not
but
that
you would
that means they're budget titles, but I mean that you could tell the inspiration.
right,
A
but
circle
you
with
okay.
eyes, a square with eyes. Yeah.
Just a
Right.
shape
But
of
you
eyes.
but you would think like if like this should probably gonna be like 19.99 or 9.99. No, that game was 4.99 and it had all those levels.
hmm
So much content.
Yeah.
Um, Bravely Default and Bravely Second in Labor. Now, Bravely Default was big
Yeah, it was huge.
because this is why
Do you remember the Japanese name for Bravely Default?
oh no, I do not.
Because they were trying to tie it to Final Fantasy without trying to tie it to Final Fantasy.
Uh
Bravely Default Flying Fairy was the name of it in Japan. And the double F was
wow.
supposed to say, hey, remember those old Final Fantasy games you liked? Well, this is kind of like
Oh,
that.
sneaky, sneaky.
Yeah.
Sneaky. Yeah.
If you want to be a Patreon producer, head on over to patreon.com/bossrushmedia and find out which tier is right for you. Our Patreon producers at the $5 tier or higher for this month are Adriel Munger, Austin Campbell, Celeste Roberts, Christian S., Sana Dierig, Francisco Santillan, and Rebecca Jewell. Thank you for your continued support.
I think this is when they started creating that battle system that you see in Octopath Traveler and everything. And Square didn't expect this game to sell at all. They thought they was gonna do like maybe 20,000. This game was huge, this literally broke Square minds, and this is kind of how, in a sense, Nintendo and Square kind of got back together with games, because Square has just like literally stopped at a point making games for Nintendo, um and went exclusively to Sony and everything. So when they brought out this new IP, you only could play it on 3DS. Um,
Yeah.
and Bravely Second, it was that's the confusing one, because people thought that was going to be the second the follow up to the series, but it's not. That's why Bravely Default 2 was out and
Mhm.
everything on Switch. So
It's all the
it was
same.
kind of confusing with it. Castlevania Lord of Shadow Mirrors of Fate came out. This was the 1.5 um game in the series before Mercury's system, or Steam. Is it Mercury system or
Steam.
Steam? Mercury Steam did the sequel to Lords of Fate of Castlevania.
Mhm.
And if people don't know, Castlevania Lords of Fate sorry uh Lords of Shadow, sorry. Lords of Shadow was created by Kojima, and he directed that game.
The first one,
Yes.
which
Um,
was good. The first one was good. A lot of people liked that first one. The second one nobody liked, and then this 3DS this 3DS one nobody really liked either.
which is funny because then it got like ported to the 360.
Yeah, but everything was getting ported everywhere at that point,
I just
especially
didn't.
by Konami because they were like starting to lose everybody, and then they lost Kojima, and then they, you know, hardly exist anymore.
Yes.
So
Um. So I'm gonna start right there. Stop right there, because the next ones we're probably gonna have a lot to talk about. Did any of you guys play any of these? I know Box Boy and Box Boy I did play. That's still on my 3DS. And Apollo Justice Ace Attorney, I played because that was like such a huge game for me. I love the Apollo Justice and the Phoenix Race games. Corey, did you play any of these?
I mean, I played Box Boy and Box Boy. Um, I played a little bit of Bravely Default, but it sounded more interesting than it actually was, in my opinion. But
Okay. Um,
you know,
Stephanie.
Yeah. For me, I'm sad to say that I missed on the Box Boy train. Not that I couldn't buy it now, but no, I haven't played any of these yet. I swear I have played games on the DS, just not these ones.
Okay. Codename Sting.
mhm.
To let everybody know a little bit of history. Uh, Codename NX was our uh transition name before we became Boss Rush and everything.
Ah,
Yes, but I laughed at the trailer of Codename Sting.
Dude, Codename Steam was awesome. I know people didn't care for it, and it didn't get great reviews, but
Hmm.
I mean that game was awesome. It was basically it was positioned as a third person shooter, but it was actually if anybody's played Valkyria Chronicles, it was like that. It was positioned as a third person shooter, but it was actually uh strategy RPG with like all these famous people from history in a steampunk world, and you like were just Abraham Lincoln was like your leader, and you just went around as all these weird people from history in this steampunk world. It was cool. I had a poster for a long time hanging on a door or a wall or something, but yeah.
Did they say that it was funny too? Like it had good writing in it.
Well, sure, but I mean,
that
yeah,
wasn't
Like
very
it was
convincing.
camp.
I mean, it wasn't. It didn't take itself seriously, if that's what you're saying. Uh, but the gameplay was fun. I actually really liked Codename Steve. It was super fun.
I would love to see that come back.
Oh man, dude, if they remastered that for Switch, uh, I'd be all over it.
I'll pre-order it with the quickness.
Mm,
Like no joke.
Mhm.
I really
yeah.
think that Codename Sting, if they fix some of the problems that they had and re-released it, I think it would
It was just
sell
on
bigger.
it was just on the wrong system. It was just on the wrong console. And we're gonna get to another game on this list that was also on the wrong console, and I will stick by it. And I know I can feel Laron's eyes rolling harder than
Oh,
I know, whatever. But
So this next one, I love these games. Crash mode, push mode,
mhm.
stretch mode. Oh,
Pushmo, the
dude,
game, the 3D game.
exactly. That's just what I was about to say. When I cut on the 3D, I did it for push mode.
Yeah,
So good.
yeah. Well, you kind of had to because the 3D, like you were required to think in the 3D space, but you were looking at it kind of straight on. And if you didn't,
Hmm.
it was for those that don't know, Pushmo, and then obviously Crash Mo and Stretch Mo and all the other Mo's. Which another series I'm surprised hasn't come to Switch, by the way, especially with like the Joy Cons and stuff. Like some of the things you do in 1-2 Switch would be perfect for another push mode style game.
I could see that
But
as an online multiplayer game.
mm, nope. Anyways, moving on. You to solve the puzzles in this game, it required you to like have the 3D on and think in a 3D space and actually like use the 3D and move your head and stuff. It was really good. Um, and then I think Crash Mo was about destruction and stuff, right, in a 3D
Hmm.
space. And then I didn't play Stretch Mo. It was a free to play game, and I didn't understand like how it was going to monetize you and everything. So I was just like, nah, I'm gonna hold out. So, but yeah,
Yes.
Pushmo.
Detective Pikachu, and there are a lot of Pokemon. Um, so before I get to the Pokemon list, Project X Zone and Project X Zone 2. This was done by Monolith Soft for and published by Bandai Namco at the time, I think. And this kind of mixed Capcom characters, and Namco characters and other anime stuff. Dude, it's such a great game. I love Project X Zone. I was deep into this game for hours.
You talked about it
Um,
a lot on early episodes of Pow Block. I remember.
yes. Um, we have Fire Emblem Awakening, Fire
Mm-hmm.
Emblem Fates,
Mm-hmm.
Echoes, and Warriors.
Yeah.
Um, Corey, you want to touch on that real quick?
Yeah, Fire Emblem Awakening is like one of the best games of all time.
Oh,
I think you
th-
could ask anybody that.
yeah,
It obviously made Fire Emblem super popular. Because remember when they published this game, they said if this game doesn't sell, Fire Emblem's done. They were done with Fire Emblem if this game didn't
yep,
sell, and it was kind of like their last hurrah. And then it was super popular.
how many Fire
And
Emblems were released before Awakening?
there was Shadow Dragon was on DS, but I think that was a remake. There were two on Game Boy Advance, and then there were a lot that weren't released here.
Oh, wow.
There was one on NES and two on Super Nintendo. I want to say.
yes. So they didn't actually start it. I think it's still Game Boy Advance.
Yeah, Game Boy
Yeah,
Advance. There was just Fire Emblem, which it was a sequel to something, but you know how their naming conventions when they brought stuff over here in the 90s and 2000s, they were just like, yeah, it's never been released here, so we'll just call it this. So
yeah, because I remember my first one was the one on DS. Um,
Shadow
there was
Dragon was that one.
yeah, because I think it had like a gold cover.
Yeah. So
Yes.
that in let's see. There's no why is there only release dates? Gosh man. Anyways.
So there's Fire Emblem Awakening, Fire Emblem Echoes, Shadow of Valencia, Fire Emblem Fates, Birthright, Conquest, and Revelations, and then Fire Emblem Warriors. I know
Mhm.
Revelations is like the second story of the Fate series, Corey. I
Third,
think.
Revelations was the one you could only buy digitally unless you got that
Yeah.
special edition 3DS. Um so it was so the thing was is they if you bought one, so say you bought Birthright, you only got the Birthright story, which was $40. But then you could buy the other two stories for $20 a piece
Hmm.
digitally. So you could have the whole thing and kind of choose the way you wanted to play, which is it's very similar to Three Houses, except you basically had to choose which cartridge you wanted, and then Revelations was never released physically. Uh, you had to buy, like I said, you had to buy that special edition 3DS to actually have Revelations on a cart. So that was really interesting. But Birthright and Conquest run parallel to each other, and then Revelations is kind of like almost like either it's like an epilogue, but you could still do stuff for Revelations during
Hmm.
the other two stories if you had it. So it's basically just like DLC with an extra ending.
And Nintendo was, well, I won't say sneaky, but they knew. So at Toys R Us, when Face dropped, they had to buy one get the second one half off.
Hmm.
So you was able to get one of those games full price and then the second half off.
Yeah, I mean that's basically how it was in the when you bought it physically and you went to the eShop, right? Like you bought like I bought Birthright and then I
Mm.
downloaded Conquest and Revelations for $20 a piece. So there was a lot of DLC for Fates also. And each DLC pack was like $8, but there was probably 15 of them.
Oh
So
yeah,
there was a lot of
a
DLC.
lot. Um, so the Pokemon games, Pocket Card Jockey, that's the one that's supposed to be coming to Switch. Um, soon. But we'll talk about that another day. Pokemon Alpha Sapphire, Pokemon Art Academy, Pokemon Battle Chose, Pokemon Dream Radar, Pokemon Moon, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, Gates to Infinity, Pokemon Omega Ruby, Pokemon Picross, Pokemon Rumble Blast, and Rumble World, Pokemon Shuffle, Pokemon Sun, Pokemon Super Mystery Dungeon, Pokemon Ultra Moon, Ultra Sun, Pokemon X, and Pokemon Y.
Holy
All of that was on the
Snorlax.
3DS.
Damn, I
Uh,
missed out on a lot because I think Corey, you have a.
and oh
That's all right. Go.
and they released Pokemon Gold and Silver on
Mm,
3DS.
Hmm, weird. So many
damn.
Pokemon.
Yeah,
Gross. Get out of here.
I had a huge gap after Gold and Silver. Once I played that generation, I did not touch Pokemon again until the Switch. So, holy shnikes, dang.
Yeah.
What was the remake of Pokemon Gold? It was something
Uh
Gold and Soul Silver. Was that 3DS also or
no, it was
DS?
DS. That was
DS. Okay.
DS. And then I forget what the remakes were. Ruby and Sapphire, I think, were the remakes for 3DS.
Okay.
So Ed,
Because
did you
Diamond and Pearl came to Switch. Oh,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just gonna ask if you played any of these games because I'd like to know if they were any good.
Yes. Yes. So besides Detective Pikachu, out of the Pokemon ones, I played. I bought Moon, Ruby, um, Sun, Ultra Moon, and Ultra Sun. I brought an X and Y. They was doing a lot of buy one get one house offs
Mhm.
on the Pokemon, and plus you got like tote bag or a t-shirt or a stylist or something. They used to have special things with that. I did get Mystery Dungeon, but I got the first one. I didn't get the Gates to Infinity, and they were okay. And Omega Ruby I got too. But they were really good. Um, I talked about Project X. Fire Emblem Awakening. Like I love that whole cast. In Awakening. I bought both Fates. I believe I bought Echoes on the eShop. But Fire Emblem Warriors, I had it on Switch, so I didn't get it on 3DS.
Yeah.
So
Echoes of Valencia was it's a remake of the second Fire Emblem game. Uh but it added like this and I think this is part of the second Fire Emblem game too, but they added dungeon crawling to the strategy RPG stuff and it was okay. It was weird. But we got the Celica, who's one of the coolest Fire Emblem characters, so it's fine. And she's coming back and engaged, which I'm super excited for.
oh,
Have you
that's
been?
cool.
I won't even bring it up because I'm.
Looking at
I
the previews.
there was a 9-minute breakdown trailer of Engage that released, and I'm really excited about it.
Ooh.
I don't. I think I'm not gonna watch it because I
Don't
wanna.
because don't watch it because that's all we'll talk about for the next like 3 weeks.
Right, because they said that preview goes up all the way up to chapter 8, and I'm just like,
What? Mm.
yeah, because I'm picking it up from Best Buy. I got mine already paid for. Um, Sadly, I couldn't get the special edition. That one is sold out, or they're not selling it. I don't know what's going on with Best Buy with that edition. But yeah, I can't wait for the 20th in 2 more weeks. Uh, so um, now Super Mario 3D Land.
It's the precursor to the best Mario game of all time.
and I think 3D World destroys 3D Land by a
Oh, dude,
landslide.
3D Land was okay. It wasn't great. 3D Land was
It was
okay.
Mhm.
for the idea they was playing around with. It was good. Yeah, it was good.
Also, I played it and I didn't really understand like what they were trying to go for at the time,
Uh,
right? So I think if I went back and played it, it would probably be way better. But I don't want to play my 3DS because I have a Switch and a Wii U and 100 other better things to play video games on. So,
um, New Super Mario Brothers 2. I think they just overdid it with the
that
coin
game's
thing.
awesome.
I played that game. That was a lot of fun.
New Super Mario Brothers 2 is awesome, but I love 2D Mario games. So, yeah, man, collecting like thousands of coins in every level was awesome.
Yeah, it really boosted your ego. I'm like, man.
Yeah, I felt really good by like the fifth level, and I had 100 lives. I was like, yeah, let's go die. I don't know.
Uh, yeah, I wasn't too big on it and everything.
Lame.
I do like New Super Mario Brothers Wii. I did enjoy that, playing that with my mom and stuff. That one was fun. Great
I
level
gotta tell you,
design in the
man,
game.
the new Super Mario Brothers games, the console ones, are some of the best 2D Mario games. And I think if people didn't just have nostalgia glasses on,
Mhm.
that people would look at them and say, "Man, some of these levels might be better than Mario 3 and Mario World."
Oh,
Just
Ooh.
saying.
Now
Anyways,
that's a
continue.
hot take.
I would talk to
Good.
you after the show about that one.
Get some gasoline. There's gonna be more hot takes.
Uh,
Fire.
cause, cause I would say the music is new Super Mario Brothers Wii. I love dancing too. It's really good for that. Oh man, dance. Luigi's Mansion 2, Dark Moon, and
Yeah.
Luigi's Mansion. Dark Moon is so good. I
Yeah.
love that
I
game.
forgot that Luigi's Mansion, the first one, they remade the first one for 3DS. I forgot that.
Yeah. Cause I never, so I rented it on GameCube, but I never got a chance to own it on GameCube.
It was the first game I owned. I had Luigi's Mansion, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3, and an orange controller were the first three things I got for GameCube.
uh, Stephanie, did you play any of the Luigi's Mansion games?
She's on mute. Still on
That
mute.
mutes it. No, can you hear
There we go.
me?
Yep.
Yeah, we can
Now,
hear
Okay,
you now.
that was weird. Anyway, I was gonna say, despite the fact that I believe Luigi is the superior Mario brother, I have not played the Luigi's Mansion games. However, I did buy Luigi's Mansion 3 for Nikolai, aka really for me, on the Switch. So I know it's not really relevant to
smart.
this discussion, but sadly, I also kind of missed the train on this one. I think I was still narrow minded in my gaming back
Hmm.
then because once we discuss what we have other things we've been playing, mine's mostly Zelda. So
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
we
fair.
would get to Zelda. And trust me, I made sure that I put Zelda on here. Um, Shovel Knight. Corey,
Yeah, Shovel Knight.
do we need to say anything? Because
Dude, I feel like no, because I feel like so Shovel Knight's amazing, and the 3DS version
yes,
is very good, and the 3D effect on Shovel Knight is actually very good. Um, but as soon as that game was released on the Wii U, I did not even touch the 3DS version.
I bought the 3DS version because it came with the digital soundtrack.
Yeah,
That was the reason why I got it.
yeah, the Wii U version did too, though. The physical Wii U version,
what version did the amiibo come out?
the Wii U version.
Oh,
Although
We
you could use it on the 3DS version as
3DS.
well.
oh,
Yeah,
okay.
that was like way later. I think after the game came out.
Yeah, I still need the gold Shovel Knight amiibo, but it's like really expensive.
Of
So it's the
course.
only Shovel Knight amiibo I don't have.
Should have I would have known, I would have got it at you for
Nope.
toys. It's it then.
Yeah, it's fine. Uh, but yeah, Shovel Knight is I so man, Yacht Club's next game, Mina the Hollower, looks incredible. By the way, shout out to Yacht Club.
Yes.
Cyber Shadow
Uh
was awesome.
it was good.
No, it was awesome. You shut your mouth. Anyways,
I did the review for it.
Stephanie cat's tail just like
Just in
slowly
my
slid
face.
down her nose.
Ugh.
Uh, um okay. So Legend of Zelda.
Mm.
Link Between Worlds. Ocarina of Time 3D. Majora's Mask 3D and Triforce Heroes. Legend of Zelda Link Between Worlds. I still feel to this day it's a perfect 10.
Hmm.
I still feel like it's game of the year. Um, I know in some outlets it was game of the year. Like it beat out everything on home console. And
Yeah, GameSpot is the one that we always bring up that gave it Game of the Year, which was
yeah,
crazy to think about at the time.
and I feel like I would play a Link to the Past in this engine if they did it.
That would be wonderful. I mean, this was the next best thing, and I
Mm,
agree. I always hear, I mean, granted, Zelda's a franchise where almost every single title is amazing, so it's hard to like rank them. Whenever people are like, "Oh, what's my top 5 Zelda or if top whatever?" Like I feel that Link Between Worlds is very underrated in that sense. I actually think it is
hmm
kind of one of the best Zelda games. They make great use of utilizing a different type of world. It is a spiritual successor of Link to the Past. Just, just chef's kiss. I love that game. That was probably my favorite game when I was playing on the DS.
it's so funny because even though it's a sequel to Link to the Past and you remember that world, it still felt fresh.
Hmm.
And it felt like
I think it's because I think it's
okay,
because
go
of
ahead.
like the walls, like the wall stuff, and like the world was actually like a 3D world that you could actually see in 3D for the
Hmm
first time in some areas, right? And
Hmm.
um,
It's very
I think
clever.
that's yeah, I think that was a great way to refresh this world that everybody's already familiar with that played Link to the Past, right? And um, yeah, I mean, here's the thing: I never played A Link Between Worlds because I never played it because my thought was, well, I'll play it after I play A Link to the Past, and I never played A Link to the Past. So,
You cannot let that stop you. That's just blasphemy right there.
but it's like it's a sequel. I can't like,
But it's not a sequel where you really don't have to play it first. I
yeah,
mean,
but you get a lot more out of it. I think if you know the link
ugh.
between or the link,
He
whatever.
played Link to the Past through me, Stephanie, when we recorded it through for our retro game show.
Yeah,
Um,
but playing Link's Awakening really has given me a new appreciation for top-down Zeldas.
mhm.
Because I'm just I I know I'm an awful, especially an awful Nintendo fan, but I'm always like looking forward and what's the next best thing and not comparing everything to the past, right? And I would take I would take something like Wind Waker or Twilight Princess or Breath of the Wild 1,000 times over something that was a 2D top-down Zelda. Like,
But
Except
uh,
for this because it's awesome.
and I think this was kind of like a great way. I think the success of Link Between Worlds gave Anuma and the Zelda team an idea to make Breath of the Wild because of the freedom that
mhm.
Link's Awakening, I mean Link Between Worlds was. Like you could go anywhere when and you could buy whatever weapons if as long as you had it. If you died, you lost the weapon. That was it until you was able to buy it and keep it for yourself. To have that freedom that people always wanted in a Zelda game, it was right there.
And can I just say that, and I don't know what the collectible was, if there was one for Link to the Past, because I know I did not play it yet. I will play it. But for Link Between Worlds, the collectibles, so to speak, were the My Mi's. They're little cute, squeaky little octopus
Hmm.
babies. They're the most adorable things. They make cute little squeaky noises when you're near them. So like it makes the collectathon a little bit more enjoyable because they're adorable, and because of the wall mechanic, there are unique ways to obtain the My Mi's. Like they might be stuck behind something and you have to go in the wall and then pop out and knock them out. I just feel like just anything that's a new and different mechanics to be able to do collectathons makes it
Hmm.
more fun. And I'm actually more um, motivated to do so because I'm not a I hate to say it, I'm not really much of a completionist, especially if it has how many Korok seeds in Breath of the Wild?
900
900?
900.
Like I
out of them
can't.
all.
But the My
Scrub.
Mi's, oh, I love the My Mi's.
I will say I especially bought my some Sony headphones to play Link to the Past for my new 3DS, so I can hear the music and hear everything. Cause I gotta admit, 3DS has some banging soundtracks,
Mhm.
and the best way to hear them was through the headphones. Good mixing in those games. I go ahead. Oh, Stephanie,
Nope,
what? I thought
just
you was
go.
gonna
Oh,
say something.
oh no.
Oh, okay. Um, I didn't play Ocarina of Time on the 3DS, and I didn't play Majora's Mask. I didn't play Triforce Heroes neither, because I just didn't have too many people playing that game with me, so I just skipped it.
Gotta tell you, Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, the best way to play those games is on the 3DS, sadly.
I do like them. I know there were some like improvements obviously that were made. I appreciated them graphically, but some of the other stuff that made them easier to play, at least for me, I'm like, eh. I think, for example, in the water temple, like they color coded the different Triforce, like the where you play the Zelda's Lullaby and raise and lower the water levels.
Hmm.
That's less offensive to me than in Majora's Mask. Like I think at each of the four bosses, like there was a big like eyeball or Majora's Mask thing that like popped out of the boss. I forgot, but there's just something different in the 3DS remakes of them. And even though I'm sound like I'm getting down on them, I still appreciate that it's been done, and I would love these versions to come on the Switch someday. Grr. But um, yeah, they were right. I mean, it was definitely a graphical upgrade. It was less polygonal. So,
Yeah, I mean, if they wouldn't even have to do anything to put them on Switch, like in terms of graphical fidelity, except for
Hmm.
upres them. I would play them like this on the Switch, right? Like I don't need it to look like Twilight Princess or Breath of the Wild at all, right? Like they could just exist like this, and I would play them, but you know,
now I think these came out on the DS, but did you guys play Spirit Tracks or Phantom Hourglass? And what did you guys think of them?
I play Spirit Tracks and I play Phantom Glass on the DS. They were fine.
yeah,
I
they were fine. I
They're
mean, Spirit
okay.
Tracks was cool because of the train, and I have this weird kind of affinity for trains, especially when I was little. Like every time there's a train,
Aw,
I'm just like, yeah, cool trains.
choo
Trains are cool.
choo.
Yeah,
That's me as a kid. I have a infatuation with trains. I love them.
yeah. Not in
Aw,
like I couldn't tell you what a train like. This is this type of train or whatever, but
Oh
I
no,
like trains. Trains are cool.
poser. No, I'm just kidding.
no,
I mean, like, oh,
no.
that's a bullet train, and this is a steam engine. That's about it. That's the extent.
I could sit down in my car and watch the train go for hours if I had to, even though I might have to need to go be at work or something. And I always look for the graffiti art on the train.
Mm.
Ah,
Uh,
So I bring that up because I just played Phantom Hourglass on my 2DS because I never owned like the original DS. And it like, like you guys said, it's kind of okay. I would say the DS Zelda games are kind of in the middle, like mediocre. I personally love Lineback, just as a side note, but this is where I kind of talk about using the stylus. What did you guys think about the stylus as a feature?
I it felt like hey, we have this thing, we have this touch screen. We should probably use it.
yeah. Um, I think it's the Majora's Mask thing with me because I'm so attached to a certain way of Zelda and its design and playing it that doing the touchscreen stuff and moving it around sometimes it didn't work for me
Okay.
at times, and so I would be like, okay, I get what this game is doing and what they're trying to go to, but I want to control my Link and I want to hit the enemies with the buttons and
Hmm.
get some rumble feature or something because I feel more powerful doing that. Cool that I could play Zelda in her spirit form, but
Yeah.
and then like the Phantom not that was Phantom Hourglass, Spirit Tracks. Um, I kind of got burned out about that game and
Hmm.
stuff because it was just like a little bit too much doing it. I'm just like, okay, if this game only had like 4 dungeons, I would be fine with it. If it was like an eShop only game for like $10, I'd be good. But nah, I jumped off the train.
Yeah.
So
Anyways.
well, we have Metroid Prime, Federation Force, and Metroid Samus Returns. Before I go on, Corey, you have the floor.
Okay, so I actually really liked Metroid Prime Federation Force, and I still say it was on the wrong console. Again, I can feel LaRon's anger and eye rolling at me. But I mean, Metroid Prime Federation Force is pretty much baby's first Destiny, and I was all for it. I just wish it was on a console that, had a real controller and didn't have to squint to see and, could turn the camera without stopping and turning. But yeah, Metroid Prime Federation Force was really fun. I actually really enjoyed it. Uh, I think the only reason why people didn't play it is because they wanted Metroid Prime 4 at the time,
Mm.
Hmm.
or just something Metroid other than this, which we hadn't gotten anything since Other M on Wii. And I think people were just upset that it wasn't Samus and that, oh, Metroid's only about isolation and Samus and being, bounty hunter. And I'm like, I mean, Mario is about jumping on turtles and collecting fire flowers, yet we have a kart racer, he plays sports, he throws parties. You know what I mean? Like it's who
He
cares?
went missing in the hotel.
Yeah,
Hmm.
who cares? So just play games. Play
Yeah.
some fun games. Don't be a loser.
I remember with Metroid Samus Returns, me and Corey literally got done watching the Nintendo Direct, and while we were recording our reactions, our thoughts. What year was that, Corey? Was that 2000?
It was 2017. It was 2017 because it was the same year the Switch came out. Because we weren't expecting a Metroid game on 3DS when the Switch was
Okay,
out.
so while we're recording,
Because
we're
we were
watching.
taught. I think the way it went was we were like we did a watch along. I think we did a watch along with Larry actually,
Yes,
and Ray Osorio, right? I think
yes.
like one of them popped off and then one of them popped on, and like people were just coming in and out of our live stream, like hanging out with us and talking to us and then hopping out, because this is when we were terribly unsophisticated and using Google Hangouts and just recording the video, which is why like half of our old episodes are in 480p. Uh, anyways, but we were doing the watch along and we had Treehouse open. We were talking about the direct because we had Xenoblade to talk about, we had Mario to talk about,
Excuse me. Yes,
we had Fire Emblem Warriors to talk about. I think there were like we had a lot to talk. Mario plus Rabbids was another game we were talking about.
because it was a big E3 for
Yeah,
the Nintendo Direct.
and we had the Treehouse open, and we're looking like you were watching it, and while I was talking, and you're like, I think they're playing Metroid. I'm like, what are you talking about? And like there's this 2D Metroid, and they played like the whole treehouse was Samus Returns and Pokemon Sun and Moon or Ultra Sun and Moon or something,
Yeah,
one of the
I
Sun
think
and Moon games, right? And that was the entire treehouse presentation. I was like, what's going on?
because Reggie Fils-Aimé was introducing it and
Yeah.
everything, and we just and I'm like, wait a minute, what is this little? And then when it showed Samus, I'm like, wait, what is this? And then when Larry said, is this Samus Returns? And it said, or Return of Citrus Metroid 2.
Hmm.
This when we learned that Mercury Steam was working with Nintendo to make the 2D
Yeah.
Metroid
hmm
because
Well, that
that
A2 another
AM2R.
AM2R had been shut down by Nintendo literally like 3 or 4 months before this, right?
Yes,
So, yeah, man, that was a surprise, and I'm actually shocked that game ever came to Switch either.
with the Fed gang. Where he went to go?
No, the
Oh,
Samus
oh, Samus
Returns.
Returns.
Yeah,
Yes. Oh, and I think that's why when we saw Metroid Dread and we realized the counterattack, that's when we was like, oh, Mercury Steam's working on it and everything.
can I just say that Metroid Dread was really awesome, and I wish I was smart enough to play that game.
Hey, I had to use a guide through most of it, and there's no shame because I did enjoy it so very much. I'm like, I want, I don't want to allow my stupidity to prevent me from
Yeah,
finishing the game.
I think I'm gonna go back and play it after at some point. At some point, I don't know, with with Harry Potter and Fire Emblem and Zelda and
Hmm.
Star Wars all coming out. Like, who knows? Who knows when I'm playing anything?
I think I could call it a wrap because I 100% it. So
Well, you
Woo!
I
suck.
believe in it.
Anyways,
So um, we have Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate and Monster Hunter Generations and Monster Hunter Stories, Love Stories, Kid Icarus Uprising, Xenoblade Chronicles D. Is it
3D the
3DS?
3DS the 3D version was awful.
3D.
That
Um,
is the worst way to play that game.
I mean, it was the only way for people to play that game was on the new 3DS
I
XL.
know, I know, but you could also play the Wii version on the Wii U and have a better time.
That is true. Uh, can't
Or you can buy
believe.
it on Switch now, which is the best way to play the game.
Well, shoot, I still own my original Wii version.
Yeah, I do too.
There's GameStop. How you gonna do a pre-sale on that game, and then be like, if you trade it in, we'll give you $70? No.
Yeah.
Like y'all can keep y'all funky little credit. I'm not about to.
Now,
No.
Kid Icarus is a game we should probably talk about because
Okay.
I think the rumor is Sakurai has been teasing that game might be getting a Switch version, which would be really cool. Uh, Kid Icarus came with a stand because people's hands were cramping when they played it, so you had to play it a very specific way.
Uh-huh.
And that was hilarious to me that it came with a little stand for your 3DS because your hand would cramp if you didn't use it.
I
It's hilarious.
I didn't pick it up. I skipped it.
It was cool. Like, it was cool. It was like a 3D action game. It was fun, but not on the
Mm-hmm.
3DS.
So, well, here's a list of Kirby games. Kirby Battle Royale, Kirby Fighters Deluxe, Kirby Planet Robobot, Kirby Triple Deluxe, Kirby's Blowout Blast, Kirby's Extra Epic Yarn. Uh, and Corey might just roll his eyes, but Kingdom Hearts 3D Dream Drop Distance. Oh goodness!
Hey, Dream Drop Distance. Okay. Was a Kingdom Hearts game that existed on the 3DS.
I played Kingdom Hearts 358 over 2 or divided by 2 or whatever, but I think that's a
Oh
DS release.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's actually 358 over 2 days.
Oh, whatever. Stupid titling. I hate
Just know your
Square.
Kingdom Hearts lore and it'll make perfect sense.
Oh, yeah, that's such an easy task. Okay.
You got to remember, Stephanie. There was a game called Infinite Undiscovery.
Oh my gosh. My
Oh
There
brain.
was.
goodness!
My
It's on
brain.
Xbox 360 exclusive.
That when I heard that name, I was like, "What the what?"
It's available digitally on Xbox Series X for $20 if you want to
I
play it
should
in
buy that
4K and 60
game.
frames a second.
I should buy that game and play it because what was that Square
Nope, nope.
Enix?
We're not talking about this. Nope. Moving on. 3DS.
I
Not,
just said it was.
not.
I was just wondering if it was Square Enix.
It was.
Okay.
It was. It
Uh,
was. They put that out in The Last Remnant within 6 months to compete with Lost Odyssey and
oh
failed miserably.
goodness. Um, we
Lost
have
Odyssey,
Mario.
by the way. Can we just talk about Mistwalker for like 5 seconds? We got Blue Dragon, we got Lost Odyssey, and we got The Last Story, all within like 6 years of each other. And then they went to make mobile games because nobody bought their awesome RPGs. That's all I have to say. Kirby sucks. Let's talk about
And they
Mario and
had
Luigi.
Blue Dragon on DS.
Oh yeah, that's true. They did have Blue Dragon on DS.
Sakaguchi. I love him. Just I wish I had Xbox 360, but I just
I
Gears
have
of
two if
War.
you want one.
Gears of War turned me off that system, and it kept ringing at that time. So I just
Yeah.
myself. Now I have Blue Dragon and Lost Odyssey physically on Xbox, and the Last Remnant. I need to find not the Last Remnant. Uh,
Nope.
the one for Wii.
Oh, Last Story.
The Last Story. My friend has it, and I'm just like, oh, I wish I had
That's
game.
an incredible game that nobody played. It is a top 5 Wii game. I'm telling you. Top 5 Wii game. You think Xenoblade Chronicles is good? You should play The Last Story. That's all I have to say.
We have Mario Luigi's Inside Bowser plus Bowser Jr.'s Journey, Dream Team, and Paper Jam. We spoke about that earlier. Mario Kart 7.
Yeah, Mario Kart 7. The third best Mario Kart game.
Mario Golf, Mario Party, Island Tour, Star Rush, and the Top 100.
Gross.
Professor, go ahead, Corey.
No, I just said gross. Mario Party on 3DS. There's nothing worse than Mario Party except for Mario Party on 3DS.
The Top 100 was fine.
Because it was only mini games. There was no board to walk around.
Professor Layton and the Arzen Legacy, the Miracle Mask, and Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright. All 3 great games.
Professor Layton. The Professor Layton games across the board are awesome. There's a Switch version. Layton's Mystery Dungeon is on Switch.
With the daughter.
It's his daughter or granddaughter or something. It's not as good, but it's still pretty good.
So. I want a sequel so bad. I beat that game. It's really, really
we
good.
We got a Phoenix Wright trilogy on Switch. Where's my Professor Layton collection? That's all I gotta say. Where is it? Everybody's into collections now. Give me this one.
Nintendo
cowards.
Nintendo get to talk to level 5. People want those games.
Cowards.
They so well. Don't know what. Just don't know why. Rhythm Heaven Mega Mix, There's a Rhythm, Final Fantasy, and Dragon Quest, which we are getting the Final Fantasy one on Switch. Cannot wait for that this year. And Dragon Quest 7 and Dragon Quest 8. Now, I didn't play Dragon Quest 7, but Dragon Quest 8 I do own for 3DS because I beat it on PS2.
Yeah,
and
Dragon Quest 8 is
so
amazing.
Good. Yeah.
I didn't play the 3DS version, but I played it on PS2 and it was awesome. Dragon Quest 8, if you can find it, incredible game. Play it.
Yeah, I beat it on PS2, but I haven't beat it on 3DS. But so good. Any of those games, Stephanie, that you tried out?
Nope.
Okay.
Man, Stephanie,
well, Corey,
Corey didn't say Zelda. She didn't play it.
Like I said, it was pre-Boss Rush. Boss Rush opened my eyes to play all kinds of games.
That is true.
Look at us. Look what we did.
Well, Corey, I'm going to turn it over to you because it's time for our ranking.
All right. So currently our rankings stand at number 7, NES, number 6, Game Boy Advance, number 5, Super Nintendo, number 4, Game Boy, number 3, DS, number 2, N64, and number 1, GameCube. I'm going to be honest, this ranks pretty low for me.
Even below the original DS?
I think the 3DS ranks probably. Man, the thing is like, I like the Game Boy Advance more than this, but
exactly,
our Game Boy Advance is so low on our list.
I forgot about that. I'm a little surprised that we did that.
I think the 3DS is better than the Game Boy, but I think it's lower than the Game Boy Advance.
So I'm putting it at number 2.
Ew, what? Gross.
I would put it just above the DS. Would that be 3 or 4?
That would be 3. Oh no.
Because 2 is what?
2 is N64.
Yeah, I put it way over N64.
Oh, gross.
100%.
We're not friends. That's gross.
Because we brought hams.
Well, we're gonna have to compromise. Ed's thinking 2. I'm thinking 3. Corey's
I'm
like
thinking
dead
like
last.
7.
No, there's just too much heat of goodness on the 3DS. So
um,
I literally think it's
I would.
number.
I mean, I would probably put the 3DS above the DS. I guess if I'm being honest on here. Um, I think it has. I think it has better Zelda games. I think it has better Mario games. Uh I think Mario Kart 7 is better playing, even though I like Mario Kart DS better, in terms of tracks that are available. Uh yeah, I I would settle for number 3. I will settle for number 3.
Yeah.
Mostly because I'm saving my fighting strength for the next episode. So
Oh,
Oh,
okay. We're gonna have to remember that.
oh.
all right.
So it's number 3 because I'm outranked
Yeah.
2-1. I literally feel like it's better than N64, and plus it got the N64 titles besides Mischief Makers.
Mm, nope.
Like
Oof,
it's
mischief
the
makers. Wow.
All right. So our definitive ranking then,
oh,
as of this moment,
gross.
are
Use of the
number
Corey's
8,
words.
the NES. Number 7, Game Boy Advance. Number 6, Super Nintendo. Number 5, Game Boy. Number 4, DS. Number 3, 3DS. Number 2, Nintendo 64. And number 1, the GameCube.
You know, it's like trying to rank your children. It's very painful and difficult to do.
Oh, my children are easy
but
to rank.
but compared to the N64, the 3DS is lesser than that. What?
Yeah, dude.
It
No.
has
The
too
N64,
much heat.
Banjo Kazooie, Mario 64,
Ugh.
both
Well,
Zelda
Mario
games,
64, yes. Ocarina of
Wave
Time,
Race,
yes.
1080, Mario
Resident
Kart,
Evil.
Diddy Kong Racing, Smash Brothers. Come on, get out of here. Get out of here.
Dude,
Nope.
compared to the heat that the 3DS has over the N64.
No. Anyways. Nope, this is our ranking. And you're just going to have to deal with it.
Aw.
Blasphemy. Yes, everybody. Well, that is going to be our reckon Nintendo 3DS.
Yeah.
We have 2 more episodes because we have got to rank the Wii U and the Nintendo Switch. And get ready, everybody, because the battle is. I feel like personally the battle is between Switch, Wii U, and GameCube.
Mhm.
What is it going to be?
I mean, I think, and we'll save it. We'll save it.
We'll save it.
Save it.
Because,
Anyways.
yes.
Ed, get us out of here.
Well, Stephanie, where can we find you?
People can find me on the internet, right? Twitter, Instagram at Klimov_author. I don't know why I post it like a question, but that's where you can definitely find me. Wednesday nights, well, we're not live anymore, right? So I guess I'll just say I'm on the Boss Rush podcast and I'm on the EXP cast, part of the Boss Rush network, and my articles on bossrush.net.
All right. And Corey, where can we find you?
You can find me at I am Corey HC on Twitter and Instagram. You can find me on the Boss Rush podcast, on Pow Block, on Tower Casuals, the Destiny podcast, and various other things here on the Boss Rush network. A lot of cool new stuff. I'm very excited.
Yes. You guys can find me on Twitter and on Instagram at that Retro Code. Check me out on Discord and check me out on Nintendo Power Block, Expansion Pass, Talk the Walk, and more coming this year, I shall say. With that, everybody, have a great week, have a great weekend, and we will see you next time for regular Nintendo Wii U. It's going to be an episode that you guys do not want to miss. With that, everybody, we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Nintendo Expansion Pass is part of Nintendo Power Block and is a product of Boss Rush Media LLC. The show is recorded from our headquarters in Akron, Ohio, and is hosted by me, Edward Varnell. My co-host is Corey Deary. You can find Corey at I am Corey in HD on Twitter and Instagram, as well as hosting the Boss Rush Podcast and Tower Casuals, the Destiny Podcast. Follow Expansion Pass as part of Nintendo Podblock and on all social media platforms at Podblock Podcast. You can also follow Boss Rush Media and Boss Rush Network on all major social media platforms. Join the Boss Rush Network Discord and Facebook groups to interact with other friends and fans. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.